Hello everyone, this is Mireille Sula, the founder of Global Woman. I am here with Robbie Mathews, a phenomenal global woman, financial transformational coach. Transformational coach. We're going to know what does that mean because, of course, most of the time we are in our path trying to get some change in our life, and why not to transform our life for better, especially when we are in business. So I met Robbie here in Los Angeles again for the third time we meet in Los Angeles, but Robbie lives in Chicago, and together with her husband Michael Mathews, they have founded the Mathews Entrepreneur Group. So she's a real entrepreneur, a very successful businesswoman, and we are so lucky having her in our little studio today to share some tips with us, because you know what? Robbie knows numbers and figures so well. So it's not just about having a passion to work in our business, but today you are going to learn a lot, not only about Robbie's story, but also how to manage our business. So here we are, Robbie Mathews. Thank you for having the time for this interview with us and for sharing your knowledge with us.
Well, thank you, Marilla, for inviting me. This is awesome.
So what is this transformational concept? Okay. So do you help entrepreneurs to transform their business perspective, or tell us a little bit more about it?
Okay, well, what we do is we help individuals and small businesses better understand their personal finances and their business finances, because it's very important that you empower yourself with your numbers. There's a lot of opportunities to empower your mind and transfer your body and transform everything else, but we don't focus enough time on transforming our financial situation. So Michael and I, we have developed what we call 7 Live Wealthy principles. And the goal is to transform your financial DNA, because you have to change your habits, change your thoughts, and some of the old myths that we were taught about money as we grew up. Because one thing we all understand is that money, the management of your personal finances is really not taught in school, and it's not taught at home. What they teach in school is more focused on business, like accounting and economics and finance. But accounting for your business and accounting in your personal world is totally different. So what we try to do is make sure that we provide a foundation and strategies for people to start transforming their habits of spending, debt, and credit, and start using debt, credit, and spending in a way that you can not only get out, you can stay out of debt, you can learn how to spend guilt-free, so that you can eventually live financially free. So that's our goal, and that's the things that we are teaching our clients to do.
So you offer this opportunity not for people who already are in business and want to move to the next level, but also for people who somehow they feel messed up with their business, and they, when you're in debt, you just feel hopeless and you feel that there is no light at the end of the tunnel. And probably, when we are in that zone, you just don't have you lose the ability to take actions and to transform yourself. So the transformation doesn't come only when you are in a position, in a level that you can attract that to you, but also you are providing you are giving hope to people that even in a momentum they feel that they lost everything, you still can help them, and they can have a transformation in their life, in their business. How do you do that? So is this something that everybody can aspire and can hope and believe, that no matter in what situation of their life they still can transform their business life?
Yes, I mean, with anything, it takes time, it takes work, and it takes effort. And it takes a commitment to make a change. And I understand that particularly as women, we're busy taking care of our families, we're taking care of our businesses, so we're not focused on the money. All we know is we need to get it done, so we take the effort to get it done. But in doing that, sometimes we tend to will overspend, or we'll spend from an emotional standpoint. It's like, okay, well, I deserve to have this purse, or I deserve to have these shoes, which absolutely you deserve all those things. However, do you deserve to be in debt to get them, right? You have to ask yourself the questions. We're not asking ourselves the right questions.
What makes people to be in debt, by the way? Wow. Yeah, that's another question that I think is very helpful to share some ideas and some kind of tips how, okay, if you are in debt, how to get out of it. So first of all, what makes people to be in debt, and how can they get out of it?
Well, the main way to get in debt is that you have credit. We've been taught with credit that credit is a good thing. And it is a good thing if you know how to manage it. Anything in life can be good if you manage it correctly. So if you manage your credit correctly, it's a good thing. But if you misuse your credit, then it's a bad thing. So people tend to separate credit from debt, when in actuality they're the same thing. Because if you're in debt, it's because you used your credit. So what we tend to do is we use our credit cards and to get something right now. And we don't understand that what we're getting right now is going to cost us a lot more in the future. And there's some times where if you lose your job or there's illness where you have to use your credit.
So things happen in life.
There's things that happen in life, but if you are aware of where you are financially and aware of how you're spending and where your money is going, then you can make some adjustments and start putting together an emergency fund, start putting money into savings, and so that when those emergency situations occur, you'll be better off. But what we tend to do is that we tend to fix the problem now.
And you don't think for later.
And we don't think for later.
So saving is another thing that we should take in consideration.
Absolutely.
So very interesting, because this is a topic that a lot of entrepreneurs are interested, especially when it comes to how to use the credits and how to create debits and how to avoid being on the debt. So how people can avoid that and come to a place that they know how to manage their credit cards.
Okay, well, there's a couple things. As from an entrepreneurial perspective, you have to understand that your business finances and your personal finances are two separate things. And oftentimes as entrepreneurs, we fund our business with our personal credit. Excuse me. So, but you have to understand that they are two separate things. And from at least in the United States, from a legal standpoint, if you don't separate your personal finances from your business finances, you won't be able to take advantage of some of the tax laws and benefits of running a business. So it's very important that you understand that they're two separate things. So given that...
So people mix it up sometimes.
They mix it up, and they'll use their personal credit, which to get you started is not a big deal, but to continue to run your business with personal credit becomes a problem. But in any case, once you're in debt, on the let's talk on the personal side a little bit, because on the business side it's a different dynamic. But on your personal side, if you get into debt, then the main thing you will have to do is you need to understand where you are today financially. Where's your money coming from? Where's your money going? What are you spending your money on? So you can find ways to cut back on spending, because I hear often people say, well, I don't have any money to save. Well, our philosophy is if you have money to spend, you have money to save.
Yes.
You just have to spend your money in the proper way. You have to spend your money on the things that you need to survive today, but also spend your money on the things that you need to survive in the future. So if you're doing that, then in theory you're spending guilt-free, because you know exactly where your money is going. So we help people figure out where they are today.
As we usually say, every money saved is a money earned.
Exactly.
But most of the people are in the mindset, I remember myself, I've been there saying, well, I can spend it because I can earn it again. But if we don't know how to save earnings, it doesn't have the same...
Exactly. And if you're the one earning the money, if something happens to you, then the money stops earning. So the goal is to start saving money so money can start working for you, because that's the ultimate goal. Right now, we trade our time for dollars. The goal is to have your money doing the work so you can live... I like to say, for me personally, I went from welfare check from living welfare check to welfare check to living paycheck to paycheck. And now I live mailbox check to mailbox check, but it's not a welfare check this time. So it's my money is working for me whether I go to work or not. So that's the ultimate goal and that's how you build wealth, is to have your money working for you, to invest in things that have the ability to create residual income, which is on one end why people create businesses, so that they could have a more prosperous future for their families. But you have to manage the money in the business. I know we put a lot of time in the social media marketing, we put a lot of time in the product, put a lot of time in relationship building, but we're not understanding the money and where is our money going. Sometimes you may have to forego a particular meeting or trip or something because your financial situation doesn't warrant that. And you have to understand on the business side, is the money I'm spending for this particular event, meeting, entertainment, what revenue will I get from that?
Yeah, how this is going to be returned.
How is it going to be returned?
Sometimes it's you can't have it clear cut and you can't predict. For example, you can make a plan like to make a trip for a particular thing and predicting that trip is going to bring you this revenue because you are finding some clients there. But it doesn't work. So how can we know or probably you get an offer for something that you are thinking, should I invest there or should I invest there? Sometimes it can be a good investment, but sometimes it can happen that investment. So how can we be wise and be very good in prediction that that's a good investment? Because in order to grow the business, we have to keep investing in the business.
Exactly.
But how can we know that is the right investment?
Well, you have to understand where you are. Where's your money right now? Can you really afford to take that risk? Because at the end of the day, it's a risk. So
you do the calculation.
You do the calculation. So if you have to spend, say, $4,000 with the potential of getting a client, is the where you're going, is the client potential there? You know, it's like, can you get $4,000 out of that client, or do you wait, generate some revenue from your current, spend money or time and effort where you are currently generating revenue, so you'll have that cushion that you can take those risks. So you can't continue to spend on a risk. You have to put efforts in where you know money, you're generating your money. If you have a good a source of revenue or clients, then put more effort into that to generate more money. And then once you have more revenue, net profit, not gross profit, after all your expenses
that's another
are taken
difference.
into consideration. It's not how much money you make, it's how much money you keep.
Yes.
Okay, but you have to take into consideration that $1 of revenue that you get has to count for salary, utilities, if you have a property, your employee costs, everything. So you have to take that into consideration. So what's your net profit? What does it look like after you've done all that? And how much does it cost for you to acquire that customer or that client? So if it's going to cost you $1,000 to get that client, but the client is only going to pay you at $197, is it really worth going after that client?
So that's why you say that you have to know your numbers.
You have to know your numbers.
To calculate everything, not just the income that you get, but also what is left from that.
Exactly. And if you find yourself, in a hole, like I said, then you focus on the areas where you're already generating revenue and put more effort into there to generate more revenue to get you out of the hole.
So this is number one, and number one was to save it. Number two is to know your numbers. But still, in the savings things, how can you? Because you mentioned you need to cut your expenses in order to make that margin of profit higher and higher.
Exactly.
So how do we know exactly that? Sometimes, especially when we are new in business, I have realized that the less people have, the less experience they have how to cut things or how to save the money. So how can we kind of pass this little, bridge that moves us from where we don't feel confident and we don't know where the right place is to invest the money, and to that place that we know how to save the money.
Okay. Well, first thing you have to do is you have to find out where you're spending your money today. So you take you look at your checking statements, you look at your credit card statements, and you figure out where's your money going, because you'll be surprised as to where your money going. Just to give you an example, even for Michael and I, we have to be very diligent, with us building our business and talking to clients and traveling to speak. We have to be mindful of where our money is going. So we got kind of caught up in, moving and traveling. And so I said, it's been 7 months and I haven't looked at where the money is going. I tend to do it every month to know exactly what we're spending.
And because now busy, and this is entrepreneurial
right. But
journey.
You have to stop and look at where you are. So I did that. I took all the transactions, took everything from the checking account, took everything from the credit cards, and I looked at where we were spending, and we had spent $7,000 on eating out alone. Just eating out.
And we never calculate this.
And we never
like 10 pounds here and $10 there.
Exactly. So once we realized what we were doing, we were able to make some changes. We were able to stop doing that. So we set budgets and limits to how much we were going to spend if we were traveling and how much we were.
So you create budgets now for everything.
You know what? I said a bad word. I'm sorry. We don't create budgets. We create spending plans, and it's a difference.
So where is the
between a budget
difference
and
now?
spending plan? Well, budget implies restrictions. And budget is like you're cutting back, you're taking away, and it has
it creates limitations.
So people never want to limit themselves, right? So I
no
don't
budget.
want to budget. So it's
How do you call
budget.
this?
It's a spending plan.
Spending plan.
That's how you spend guilt-free, because you know what you're spending your money on.
So now I understand your point of view of the planning thing.
Yes, we all know Marilla doesn't like to plan, but in this case,
yes,
it's important. So if you know where your money is going, first of all, then you can make some changes. That's why people say, well, I don't have any money to spend. Yes, you do. I'm sure, I'm speaking to the ladies right now. I'm sure there's men listening, but ladies, the last pair of shoes you bought, or the last purse that you bought, the last dress, you probably didn't need it. However, that money, right? That money could have gone to your savings, to your emergency fund. So we have to be mindful of where we're spending our money and why we're spending our money, because that's the only way that we can make changes.
So that's really, really important, because you're reminding me of a friend of mine. I remember she bought a dress, and then after 5 minutes she changed her mind and she returned the dress. I said, why are you doing that? She said, that I was thinking, this money is better to stay in my bank account than in their bank account. So why should I do that? And I've been thinking about, so this is what you're reminding me, because we think that, okay, it's not a big deal, $100 or $50 or 60 pounds. But if we calculate through the year all these not necessary expenses that we do, you are saying that it's better to move it into the emergency account?
Move it to your emergency account, so that if something happens, you have money there available.
So why people don't think about emergency? They never think that bad things are coming.
Right. No one ever wants, because no one wants to dwell on the bad things, right? You don't want to think about something happening. But there's especially in the world today, for some reason, there's a lot of bad things happening. We've got floods and we've got hurricanes and tornadoes all around the world. And one day you wake up and the next day your house is floating down the street because of some flood that came through. Or there's domestic violence, women needing to escape, but they have no money because the man in that case may have been controlling all the finances. So it's important to find a way to put money aside for anything that happens. You could walk out the house and fall down the stairs and break your leg, and you can't go to work. And with our medical systems around the world, it's difficult to get quality medical care. So, but these are the things we have to prepare for. We have to prepare for the future, and that's tomorrow is your future. So if you're spending everything today, what's going to happen with your future tomorrow?
You have to think for tomorrow.
You have to live for today for tomorrow as well.
You have to invest today for tomorrow.
For tomorrow, yes, so that you could be prepared.
That's so true.
Right.
So in terms of business now, of course, you are a businesswoman, and in order to be where you are today, you had to invest in terms of probably hiring a coach or a mentor or a package or a marketing so I've heard, look, working with women, and of course women that are part of the Global Women platform, most of them, they are in business. I have heard a lot of cases like sometimes it's so hard, you think you are investing this money to get something out of it, but then it's very hard to find. You, as you said, you do your due diligence. What can you advise for entrepreneurs that they want to make not a budget, to have a budget, but a plan, a financial plan for investing some money, like in self-development or professional development or growing their business? So what is the step that we need, or the things that we need to know how to invest the money wisely?
Well, that's back to the education part. Excuse me. We all don't know everything, but there are experts out there that know different things. So you have to be willing to reach out and ask for help. As women, sometimes we want to kind of do it ourselves to prove that we can do it, right?
And do everything,
right? And the whole thing, well, you can have everything. Well, yes, you can have everything, but you need help in getting it, and there's nothing wrong with that. So getting a coach for your business, or getting a coach for your personal development is absolutely essential to your success, because a coach can tell you, okay, why are you spending that, or why are you doing that, to help challenge you to think through the things that you're doing. Sometimes we'll do things on impulse because we think that's what we should be doing. But if you had someone you can bounce ideas off of, someone that can give you some direction to help you not make those mistakes early on in your business, so you're not suffering on the back end. So having an educational coach, attending seminars, attending workshops, doing self-study, those are the things you need to invest in your personal development for your business as well as for yourself. So when I talk about getting into debt, and so people say, well, if you're a coach, then people have to pay you. It's like, well, yeah, I mean, my time is valuable, but my goal is that the little bit that you may invest in a coach should pay off if you follow the directions, because part of what you do with your coach is you lay out your plan, and in the plan, the goal is to reach, okay, well, I want to get out of debt. Well, if you get out of debt, say you're in, $10,000 worth of debt, and if the plan is laid out for you to get out of debt, that's $10,000 you have to either invest in your business, or to put into your savings plan, or to send your kids to college, or to grow your business, or whatever it is you want to do with it, whatever the plan is. But if you don't know how to get yourself out of debt, then you're just going to continue to dig that hole. So you have to invest. That right. So that's what the spending today, or the investment today, is for your future. So you hire a coach. If you're doing social media and you know that's an important part of your business, then you have to invest in hiring social media. Just liking things on Facebook is in posting things on Facebook is not truly managing social media from a business perspective. Yes. There are things that you need to do, placing ads, because there's a lot of restrictions out there on Facebook and the whole Instagram, and learning how that stuff works. But you can hire people and do word of mouth. So you came to another point, hiring people. Hiring people. But this is another challenge in business, finding the right people and hiring the right people. So from your experience, how can we find the right people? Because this is what I hear most of the time as a complaint. Exactly. And I've had the experience with just recently with our website, because we're completely redesigning our website and our infrastructure. And so even with word of mouth, sometimes that doesn't, if you refer to someone from someone who you trust, and that sometimes may not work out. Well, here's the thing. Always get an agreement with anybody that you hire. You get a contract. You
That's
get a contract
exactly
with deliverables and deadlines and dates. And if that person does not deliver, then you demand your money back. But if you have a contract, then it's easier to get your money back.
So contract for every proposal that you receive or a transaction that you do. That's
yes,
like
as women, and I love women because I'm a woman. As women,
so
we tend to want to
a proper contract or something in writing.
A proper contract. We want to. Well, that's my friend, or you know, a friend's going to help me. That's my friend, or someone referred.
But in order to save your friendship, you better
get a contract. Get a contract. Yes. That's the first way. So if that person doesn't work out, then you demand your money back, which is something we did actually for our website.
That's a very good
it was a word of mouth, a person we trusted, and it wasn't the person we gave. They gave us the advice that we don't have an issue with that. And the person we went to had a contract like this. You know how I want my website. This is what we want. And they didn't deliver. So I demanded our money back, and we got our money back, and now we moved on.
Because you had a contract.
Because we had a contract. So you make sure you do that. I know we like to help other people out, and you know, we do things in barters, and you know, well, you do this for me and I'll do this for you. But if you really need this to be successful for your business, you have to do it in a business-like manner.
I am so impressed. You know, I could spend another 2 hours with you, Robbie, and I'm sure I'm going to come back because I'm sure this is going to be a very useful time for all people who are watching this video. Before we close it, what is your last message for women entrepreneurs, but also for men as well? Everybody is watching this video. So your last message, what is something really, really important that they should know?
You must take the time to know your numbers, know where you are financially.
And not after 7 months.
And not after 7 months.
Every month?
Every month. Know where it doesn't, once you get a procedure and process in place, it doesn't take that long. And we tend to want to think finances are complicated because we hear economics and we hear numbers in the media and we hear all this stuff. That has nothing to do with your personal in your business finances. It's totally separate from what's going out in the world. Look at your current stuff and then you can start making some changes.
Robbie Mathews, thank you very much for your knowledge and wisdom, for sharing it with us, and thank you for watching this video. We'll come back with you and with more women entrepreneurs to share their tips.
Thank you, Marilla.
Thank you.